Minimum alternate tax reduced to 15% from the existing 18.5%. Markets cheer the government's announcements as Sensex and Nifty in the green. Ex-Union Minister Swami Chinmayananda arrested by the Special Investigation Team of Uttar Pradesh in connection with the Shahjahanpur rape case. Chinmayananda produced in court. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to depart for the United States tonight. Prime Minister Modi, during his 7-day visit to the US, will take part in the Howdy Modi event in Houston along with the US President Donald Trump on the 22nd of September. PM to also address the UN General Assembly on the 27th of September. Addressing media in New York on India's agenda in the upcoming United Nations General Assembly, India's envoy too says the entire world is with India on J&K and Pakistan would face major embarrassment if it raises it in UNGA. Ceremonial reception given to the President of Mongolia in New Delhi, who's on a visit to India, will jointly unveil the Buddha statue with Prime Minister Modi through video conferencing from the Mongolian capital. Will also meet President Ramnath Kovind and Vice President, signing and exchanges of agreements on the card. Headlines at 11:30. I'm Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Diwali came early for India's firms after the centre slashed effective corporate tax to 25.17%, inclusive of all cess and surcharges for domestic companies. Making the announcement, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that the new tax rate will be applicable from the current fiscal, which began on April 1st.
In order to promote growth and investment, a new provision has been inserted in the Income Tax Act with effect from fiscal year 2019-20, which allows any domestic company an option to pay income tax at the rate of 22%, subject to condition that they will not avail any exemptions or incentives. The effective tax rate for these companies shall be 25.17%, inclusive of all surcharges and cess. Also, such companies shall not be required to pay any minimum alternative tax, no MAT on them.
Finance Minister also said that corporates who don't avail tax exemptions shall not be subject to minimum alternate tax or MAT. She added that MAT rate has been reduced to 15% from the existing 18.5%.
In order to provide relief for companies which continue to avail exemptions and incentives, the rate of minimum alternative tax has been reduced from the existing 18.5% to 15%.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also said that the super rich tax is not to apply on capital gains arising from the sale of any security, including derivatives, in the hands of foreign portfolio investments.
In order to stabilize the flow of funds into the capital market, the enhanced surcharge shall also not apply to capital gains arising on sale of any security, including derivatives, in the hands of foreign portfolio investors.
Pakistan has faced a major embarrassment over its stand on Jammu and Kashmir. Its attempt at pushing through a resolution in the UNHRC against India with regards to alleged human rights violation in Kashmir fell flat, with Pakistan not getting the support of even one country. This came even when Pakistan had claimed the support of more than 50 countries, badly exposing Pakistan's isolation in the international community. India's first secretary in the permanent mission at the UNHRC, Kumkumini Devi, lashed out at Pakistan over its human rights record. She said all the decisions of India on Jammu and Kashmir are totally internal issues and Pakistan is trying to misrepresent the fact. She also said that Pakistan has a dismal record of human rights against its own people of Balochistan, Sindh and its occupied Kashmir.
We deplored repeated misuse of the Council by Pakistan with fabricated narratives against India. Our decision in Jammu and Kashmir is within our sovereign right and is an internal matter of India. None of Pakistan's attempts to misrepresent our decision under different agendas can hide its territorial ambitions over Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan's frantic reactions could be well understood as our decision is creating obstacles in Pakistan's continuous sponsorship of cross-border terrorism against India.
India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Syed Akbaruddin, addressed the media in New York. He gave important information about the agenda of the UNGA and the Prime Minister's address at the UN General Assembly. He said India's stand on Jammu and Kashmir is very clear. The entire world is with India on this issue, and Pakistan would face major embarrassment if it raises the issue.
It is for every country to determine its trajectory of how it wants to approach global platforms. There may be some who stoop low. Our response to them is we soar high. They may stoop low, we soar high. And what I've told you are examples of how we will soar higher. What they want to do is they call, we've seen them mainstream terrorism in the past, and what you're now telling me is they may want to mainstream hate speech. It's their call if they want to do that. Poison pens don't work for too long. We are confident that we will soar. We've given you examples of how we will not stoop. We will soar when they stoop low.
India would also stress on joint efforts to fight against terrorism at global level.
You are aware that Prime Minister has made a call for an international conference to counter terrorism. He will, of course, make that pitch. These efforts that you are taking, you're mentioning, require build-up. You've seen the efforts that we are trying to work on within the context of what are the broad themes at the GA. That does not exclude us from addressing some very serious challenges, and those challenges include terrorism. That will always be a theme in India's external orientation because our people have suffered enough, and we would like the international community to act in unison to address these issues.
Syed Akbaruddin also gave details about the major issues to be highlighted at the UN General Assembly.
The main meetings: climate action, number 1. Number 2, health. Number 3, SDG implementation. Number 4, financing for development. Number 5, the Samoa pathway for small island developing states. These are the 5 big things that the UN has, by consensus, agreed to be the focus of this year's General Assembly session. Each of these themes has for us a importance not only as a foreign policy issue, but as an issue that we can learn as well as explain in terms of our domestic priorities.
Pakistan initiated unprovoked ceasefire violation by firing of small arms and shelling with mortars in Sharpur and Kirni sectors of district Poonch of Jammu and Kashmir at about 2000 hours on Thursday. Indian Army is retaliating befittingly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 7-day visit to the United States tonight. During his visit, Prime Minister will be in Houston and to New York and address the United Nations General Assembly on the 27th of this month. This will be the first time the Prime Minister will address the General Assembly in the high-level segment after 2014. Briefing reporters in New Delhi, Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale said The Prime Minister will address the Indian community on the 22nd of this month, and President Trump will also be there.
This is the Prime Minister's first visit to the United States after the re-election of the government, and the Prime Minister is going to the UN General Assembly with solid achievements in the previous 5 years in Sustainable Development Goals. Our intention, therefore, in participating this year in all the plurilaterals is to showcase the progress that we have made in issues relating to climate change, universal health coverage, renewable energy, sanitation, and so on, as well as I said, to convey expectations from the other countries and to understand their aspirations in this regard. Prime Minister is also of the view that it is important to play the role that is expected of India in shaping the global agenda on many of these issues, both political and socio-economic. And in this context, the Prime Minister will again reiterate a position that India has been saying for some time, and that is multilateralism is at the center of global politics. It should remain so, but there has to be a reformed multilateralism.
Foreign Secretary said that trade issue will figure in the talks of Prime Minister Modi and President Trump. He said that India expects positive movement as far as trade is concerned.
You are aware that during the last meeting in Osaka, the two leaders discussed several issues, including trade issues, and this is one of the issues where we feel forward movement should be taken, which is mutually balanced and which addresses the concerns of both sides. I have no doubt it will figure in their discussions, but as to the eventual outcome, that is something we will have to wait for.
On the 24th of September, India will organize an event to commemorate the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi in the United Nations. This event is titled Leadership Matters, Relevance of Gandhi in Contemporary Times. Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale informed that the Gandhi Solar Park, which is the installation of solar panels on the rooftop of UN headquarters in New York, will also be launched on the occasion. During the visit, Prime Minister will also be honored with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's Global Goalkeepers Award for his leadership in the field of sanitation through the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan.
The award by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Global Goalkeepers Goal Award. This is at the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. It is given every year to a world leader for achievement in a specific SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, and the previous winners have been Prime Minister Solberg of Norway and President Sirleaf Johnson of Liberia. And this year, the Gates Foundation is honoring the Prime Minister for his leadership in the field of sanitation through the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan.
First Hindu woman in the US Congress, Tulsi Gabbard, has welcomed Prime Minister Modi to United States. In a video message, she said that Howdy Modi is bringing together Indian Americans and Hindu Americans from across the United States. She also said that India is one of United States' most important allies.
And namaste. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Prime Minister Modi on his latest visit to the United States. And I'm sorry that I'm not able to join all of you there in person due to previously scheduled presidential campaign events in Iowa. But I'm really glad to see so many Indian Americans from all across our country, as well as many of my colleagues in Congress, coming together there. Now, India is the world's largest democracy and one of the United States' most important partners in the Asia-Pacific region. Our two nations must continue to work closely together if we are to address the pressing issues that impact us and the world. Issues like combating climate change, preventing nuclear war and nuclear proliferation, and improving the economic well-being of our people. So as we build a strong and lasting partnership between our two nations, focusing on areas of economic growth, wealth and opportunity, inequality, science, health, the environment, security, and counterterrorism, we can bring about the ideal of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, recognizing that everyone on our planet, we are all one family.
There's huge enthusiasm in America on Prime Minister.
He's touching people's hearts, not only in India, but around the world.
Our correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh had an exclusive conversation with the spokesperson of the Texas India Forum, which is hosting the entire event.
There is much anticipation around Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the US and the mega Howdy Modi program in Houston. Texas India Forum is organizing this mega event. I have with me spokesperson of Texas India Forum, Mr. Gitesh Desai. Sir, tell us about this choice of venue and how did you think of Howdy Modi program?
This event is going to have 50,000 attendees from Indian American communities. This has been a program in which out-of-state people will also participate. There are 48 states of Indian American people living across the United States will be attending this event. It's a great event. It's going to be a historical event because this is the largest assembly of people for a democratically elected foreign head of state in the United States. There is no event in comparison to this that in the past history of the United States. In this program, there will be senators, congressmen, governors, mayors, and of course, the United States President Donald Trump will be coming to the event.
We learnt about how it's going to be a packed hall. Over 50,000 Indian American community members are going to be present here. Give us more insight into the scale of the program. What kind of preparation is taking place? We learned there are some cultural programs also that will precede Prime Minister Modi and President Trump's address.
In this program, the theme is woven, meaning how a thread is woven to make a fabric. So how Indian Americans came to the United States and became part of America. So we are partly Indian heritage people. We are partly learning, absorbing American culture. So we are Indian, we are American. We are Americans, we are Indians.
All right, Mr. Desai, thanks very much for joining us for this conversation. Best wishes for this mega program.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Former Union Minister Swami Chinmayanand was arrested today in connection with the alleged sexual harassment of a UP law student. The victim had recorded a statement before a magistrate in Shahjahanpur on Tuesday. Earlier, she had been quizzed by the special investigating team. Mongolian President Kaltama Baltuga today held in-depth discussions on a wide range of bilateral, regional and global issues with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two countries would review the ongoing cooperation in the field of infrastructure, energy, disaster management, defense, security, culture and capacity building. Earlier, the Mongolian president laid a wreath at the Samadhi of Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. Baltuga is on a 5-day visit to India with an aim to intensify bilateral ties between the two countries. First up in the morning, President Ramnath Kovind extended a grand ceremonial welcome to his Mongolian counterpart. Well, his engagements for the day is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in a little while from now, along with the Mongolian President, will jointly unveil the Lord Buddha statue at the Ganden Monastery today via video conferencing in a short while from now. The statue is a symbol of India-Mongolia spiritual partnership and shared Buddhist heritage. Meanwhile, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will chair the 37th GST Council meeting in Goa today. All preparations for the event are in full swing as the state finance ministers have started gathering in the land of soft sand. Officials have told DD News that there would be a major decision on the simplification of the procedures under GST. Almost 80 items are on the agenda of the meeting. Officials of the 15th Finance Commission, which will recommend a formula for sharing the union government's divisible pool of tax revenue with states, will discuss the fiscal position of the states and the centre at the GST Council meeting. The meeting will start. The meeting has started a little while ago. Moving to international stories, at least one person was killed and 5 others injured in a shooting in Washington, D.C. The shooting took place at the Columbia Heights, about 3 kilometers from the White House. The injured are being treated at hospitals, including at least one who is in critical condition. Police said that they are interviewing people in the neighborhood and looking for camera footage. However, motive remains unknown. Israel's second elections in a year has ended in a deadlock as no party has won enough votes to form a government with majority. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday called on his main rival, former General Benny Gantz, to join him in a broad governing coalition after Israel's election ended with no clear winner. Gantz, however, rebuffed the idea, calling it a spin. He said he wanted a unity government, but only one that was led by him. Gantz stressed that he wants to give a good, desirable unity government. The official figures have not yet been released, but Gantz's Blue and White Party held 2 seats more than Netanyahu's Liquid Party in the tight race. The Electoral Commission in Israel only released voting figures without declaring a winner. On day 6 of the World Wrestling Championship, Ravi Kumar Dahiya and Bajrang Punia both lost their respective semi-final matches but secured themselves quotas for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics on Thursday. Bajrang went down against Daulat Niazbakev of Kazakhstan. Bajrang and Niazbakev were 9-9 and needed a tiebreaker to get a result, where Bajrang lost on a number of cautions. Earlier in the quarterfinals, Punia had defeated Jong Song of North Korea 8-1. Meanwhile, Ravi Kumar lost 4-6 to Zavur Ugev of Russia in the semi-finals of the 57-kilogram freestyle event. Ravi Kumar started with 11-0 win in the first round and then defeated reigning European champion Arsen Harutyuan of Armenia 17-6 in the quarterfinals. Also, news coming in is that Sushil Kumar has lost his first bout. Sushil Kumar has lost 9-11 to Azerbaijan's Gadziev there in the World Wrestling Championship. So good news not coming there on day 7 of the championship, where Sushil Kumar has lost his bout very early in the morning. Moving to badminton, reigning world champion and title favorite PV Sindhu crashed out of the China Open Super 1000 tournament after suffering a pre-quarterfinals defeat to Thailand's Pornpope Chu Wong in the women's singles on Thursday. India's top shuttler Sindhu lost to Thailand's Pornpope 21-12, 13-21, 19-21 in a duel that lasted more than 50 minutes. Meanwhile, in the men's singles, World Championship medalist Sai Parneet booked his place in the quarterfinals of the China Open. Sai defeated Lu Gongzhu of China 21-19, 21-19 in 48 minutes. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of English News. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.